Hey guys, Jason. And I'm always getting emails, I'm always getting comments, and I always love reading about people talking about investing with Bitcoin. And as the slogan goes, you only invest what you can lose. But sadly enough, this isn't always common. I get emails all the time, Jason, I invested $2,000 in my retirement, and now Bitcoin's collapsed from $800 to $300 or $400, and what do I do? Do I pull out? And it always saddens me because, I don't give investment advice, but it always hurts because people don't follow the very simplest rule of investing. Don't invest what you can't lose. So I want to emphasize this really hard. Now, I just did a video here recently on January 1st talking about, Bitcoin possibility with the Bitcoin ETF by the Winklevoss twins and how this could maybe implement the ability to use your 401k to invest in Bitcoin. Now, in this case scenario, with your 401k, it's usually handled by mutual funds or in various other investment funds. So there's a percent of risk allocated to different percentages of your investment, which is fine because Bitcoin's a more risky investment comparatively to maybe, say, gold. So it's okay to have 3 or 4% or maybe 5% of that high-risk investment in your total portfolio. But I want to reference something. I was reading the Litecoin forums on Reddit, and this article kind of really referenced me because it's something that I read all the time, in emails or on blog posts, and I want to really emphasize this. So I'm gonna read it for you guys. I just bought $400 worth of Litecoin at $8.68, thinking it would go up higher, but I actually bought at its peak, and I decided to hold. Okay, so this guy right now, to emphasize, he bought $400 total of Litecoin when it was at $8.68. Now, so far, since that price has dropped, he's held. He hasn't sold those Litecoins. Then he asks, should I sell and just accept my loss? Now, there's pages on page. I think there's 27 comments of people, giving advice, right? And for instance, the first guy asked, and I think this is a great question, do you need the money? It's a good question. Do you need the money? Which emphasizes don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Right? Now, you might ask me, Jason, why are you doing this video? You talk about this in all your videos. It's because the same pattern gets repeated. It doesn't matter if you're in the stock market, the gold market, the silver market, the metals market, the aluminum market, the cryptocurrency market, the bond market. This happens over and over, and it's not just a generational thing. This happens in every generation. People invest more than they can lose or afford to lose, and it hurts them financially. For sometimes a few months, for sometimes decades to come. And I don't want to see that happen to people. That's why when people were asking me for advice to invest in miners, I said, well, only buy what you think you can afford to lose. Buy it for a novice device. Don't really just get it because you think it's going to make you millions of dollars, because it's not. So now this guy, I don't know his financial situation. $400 to him might not be very much if he's making $100K a year. But I'm telling you, if you're making minimum wage, $400 is a heck of a lot of money. Now, again, I don't know the inside of this guy, but let's break through what an average investor should do. So let's say you put $400 in at $8.68. Okay, that seems reasonable. I remember Litecoin was like 12 cents, but okay, so it's up because, if you don't remember, Litecoin peaked at like $40, right? So if you're in this movement and it's moving up, you're thinking, man, Litecoin's going to keep rolling up, just like Bitcoin was when it hit $1,200, right? Buying at the peak. When Facebook stock was coming out, I remember hearing a lot of kids at high school, and this is high school granted, talking about their parents and everything, saying, oh, they're going to buy Facebook stock. And here's what they're going to do. They're going to buy it low, and they're going to sell it high, and they're going to make a F-word fortune, right? And everybody was saying this. I was reading comments on Reddit. People were talking about this. And, the same sentiment is kind of in Bitcoin. And it hasn't fully, engaged yet, but it's this idea that, oh, well, I'm smart, I'm an average citizen, I'm going to buy low and sell high. Well, here's the problem. There also is a million other people in the world that have that same idea. That's a very basic concept. So if you look at a price, you say, well, the historical average is da-da-da-da, and Bitcoin's only, or Litecoin's only $8 now, I should buy up. Well, you got to look at historical averaging, compare it to historical trends, and also listen to analyses and look at the content that's provided to the source of the code, the programming, and to the community behind that coin. And I go in depth with this on my investment videos where I talk about investing in altcoins. And Litecoin is an altcoin. It's the second largest altcoin, but it's still an altcoin. So what would you do if you were in my situation? Okay, well, I'm a college student, and $400 is a heck of a lot of money to me. Now, granted, I do have a lot of money invested in cryptocurrencies, a lot more than average college student, so I can kind of give you a reference. I bought, I'll reference this because this is one of my largest things. So I bought in Coin back when it was low. And I bought in, around 12 cents. And of course, it went up to like $8. Let's just say I would have had a large amount of money in Coin. But I held out, and I didn't sell, and it dropped. Now it's at like 68 cents. It was at $3 for a while. And people say, well, people would ask me, why do you hold? Because I look at it and I see intrinsic value. And I know people yell at me because they think I use the word intrinsic value differently than they perceive it, but it's intrinsic value. The value it has behind it, the creators, the content, the community. And I say, okay, well, to me, $400 is a lot of money. With Coin, I'm willing to follow the market because I know at the end, even if I made $1, I followed that market and I learned something. That's for me one of the biggest things, if you learn something. Because a lot of people say, I want to make money, but making money is awesome and it's a big deal because money is everything in this world, it seems like. But so is learning. They say the best thing you can do for your life is to invest in yourself, invest in your knowledge. And that's why they say to get an education, one of the best things you can do. So at $400 this guy has, should he sell? If $400 is a big deal to him, he should have never invested. That's my point of view. So at this point, why should he sell now? He held out when it dropped from $9 to $7 to $6 to $4. Why suddenly sell at $3? He's only going to make $100. If that $100 is that important to him, he shouldn't have invested in the first place. Okay? So the way I look at it is, he's already in the game. He should learn more about Litecoin. Figure out more about his investment. Maybe get involved in the Litecoin Association, promote Litecoin, and maybe try to push his investment up higher and ride it out. One of the biggest problems we have, I love reading about historical price averaging and stuff and stock market history. One of the biggest things I'm really interested in is the Great Depression. And there's a theory I love to talk about with people on the side. It's called the Shoeshiner-Boy theorem, and it's kind of a self-proclaimed one I've come up with, and I can explain that in another video. But the idea is, when everybody else is, when the original investors are selling, you shouldn't be buying. And so it kind of correlates back to this idea: don't buy it at its peak. Don't just when Coin was coming out. I remember it was gaining traction. It was getting up to 15 cents. Everybody was trying to buy in. Well, here's the problem: the original investors had already sold, right? So the original investors had sold. It was the second and third generation of investors. They were buying up and selling. You were buying at the peak. The goal when you buy is to not buy at the peak. But again, the biggest issue I have, and I want to really stress this because people email me all the time, and I see this kind of correlate itself over and over. Don't invest what you can't afford to lose. So why did I do this video? I did it because I want to educate people. I want to show you, invest what you can only afford to lose, invest in yourself, and experiment and learn. When I got in at 14 and 15 years old, I knew nothing about currency markets. I loved economy. Everyone loves money. I love stock market. I dreamed of becoming a hedge fund manager someday in my life, but I had never understood how markets work. Bitcoin taught me that. When people ask me what the biggest thing Bitcoin has done for me, I say, well, it made me create this YouTube channel, but I say it made me learn how markets work, how economy of scale works, how it works at a small level, and how it grows. I learned something. And that's what Bitcoin can do for you. Don't always get greedy and think about Bitcoin can make money for you, because it will. It can. Just like any market, any currency, anything. But it can make you learn something invaluable. And that's what Bitcoin's about. Guys, have a great day, and thanks for watching.